Hello students, you are welcome to LODLC lecture series on MKC 309 Management Theory, study section 5. The title of today's topic is Administrative Management Theory. Introduction. The Scientific Management School called attention to a more efficient organization. Its emphasis, however, left many unanswered questions for higher level managers. These problems were tackled in the early 20th century by the administrative theorists. The administrative school has many predominant contributors such as Fayol, Bernard, Uwick, Follett, Money and Riley, Golick, and others. The administrative theory have some common elements, which are: 1. They were interested in the process of efficient cooperation. They developed principles and functions of management as the backbone of their theory of organization. 3. They considered these principles and functions universal. 4. They made distinction between the theory and science of organizations and the acts of techniques of its application. Outline of study section 5. When you have studied this section, you should be able to 1. Explain the elements and principles of administrative theory. 2. Explain the contributions of the administrative theorists. 3. Discuss the criticism of administrative theory. Elements of administrative theory. The administrative school is an approach that focuses on principles that can be used by managers to coordinate the internal activities of organizations. The elements of administrative school include principles of management, concept of line and staff, committee, and functions of management. The principles of administrative theories will be discussed under the different contributors, but meanwhile you first need to learn about the concept of line and staff, committee, and functions of management. Concept of line and staff. Line and staff organization is a modification of line organization, and it is more complex than line organization. According to this administrative organization, specialized and supportive activities are attached to the line of command by appointing staffs, supervisors, and staff specialists who are attached to the line authority. The power of command always remains with the line executives and staff supervisors, guides, advise, and counsel. Personal secretary to the managing director is a staff official. In the early management writings, line and staff alternately refer to types of activities, types of authorities, and types of departments. Line activities are those that directly contribute to the accomplishment of organizational goals. On the other hand, staff activities are those that make a more indirect contribution to goals by supporting and facilitating line efforts. The difference between the two concepts, line and staff, can be traced by examining their line of authorities. Line of authority is a right to command action, while staff authorities entails the right to advise and recommend. Committees. A committee is a formal organization team, usually relatively lived-long, created to carry out specific organizational tasks. They can contribute to creativity, communication, motivation, coordination, and broad representation of points of view. They can be used as a method of avoiding action and for taking responsibility when it is not deemed appropriate for an individual to do so. Committees are good for formulating policy, but they are poor at providing leadership in executing decisions, according to Doe and Uwick, 1960. The disadvantages of committee include cost, watered down decision, indecision, tyranny of minorities, and self-perpetuation of committee. The functions of management will be discussed under the work of Fayol. Contributions of theories to administrative school. Contributions from Henri Fayol. Fayol, a French engineer, pioneered the systematic methods of management. Fayol is best known for his administrative management approach, which stresses the functional aspects of the organization structure. Fayol stated that there are 5 fundamental functions for all managerial activities. 1. Planning. Examining the future and developing a plan of action. 2. Organizing. Creating a structure of both people and materials to achieve the plan. 3. Commanding. Maintaining appropriate activities among the personnel and setting a good example. 4. Coordinating. Unifying and harmonizing organizational variety. 5. Controlling. Seeing that the required activities are accomplished in line with the established plan. According to Fayol, these functions were to be performed in line with its general principle of management. Fayol's principle of management. Henri Fayol stated the following principle of management. 1. Division of labor. Work should be divided horizontally for more efficiency. 2. Discipline. There must be respect for and obedience to the rules and objectives of the organization. 3. Unity of command. Any employee should receive direction from one superior only. 4. Remuneration of personnel. Pay should be fair, not exploitative. 5. Centralization. Authority resides at the top. Other principles of management according to Fayol are authority and responsibility. Authority is the right to give orders. An organizational member has a responsibility to accomplish the organizational objective of his position. Now we have unity of direction. An organization is effective when members work together towards the same objectives. We also have centralization. Authority resides at the top of the organizational hierarchy and is disseminated throughout the organization by the process of delegation. So also we have equity. Kindness and justice based on predetermined conventions should prevail in the organization. Then contribution from Chester Bernard. Bernard also contributed extensively to administrative theory. A major contribution of his is the acceptance theory of authority. The theory argues that authority does not depend on persons of authority who gives order on willingness to comply of those who receive the orders. He believes that it is the employees who decide whether or not to accept orders and directions from above. Based on his view that authorities follows from the bottom to the top, he argued that employees are more willing to accept directions from a manager if certain conditions are met. These conditions are: 1. Understand the communication. See communications as consistent with the purpose of organization. Feel that the action indicated are in line with their needs and those of the employees. See them as mentally and physically able to comply. Contribution from Linda Uwick and Lothar Gulick. Uwick, a British Army officer turned theorist and consultant, integrated the idea of scientific management with the ideas of administrative theory. Gulick isolated the responsibility of the chief executive and enumerated them using the acronym POSD-CORB, which stands for planning, organization, staffing, directing, coordinating, reporting, and budgeting. Administrative Management School. A critic. A general criticism of the administrative school is that it has not been verified under controlled, reputable conditions. Albert H. Simon, 1961, a critic, argued that administrative theory is full of inconsistency, tautologies, and lack of sophistication. Another criticism is that since a vigorous scientific basis is lacking, management principles are nothing but proverbs, comparable to folklore or folk wisdom. Simon, for instance, wrote that the current principle of administration, like proverbs, occur in pairs for occurs in pairs. For almost every principle, one can find an equally plausible and acceptable contradiction principle. Contribution of Contributions of administrative theory. The administrative school focuses on principles that can be used by managers to coordinate the internal activities of an organization. The theory was pioneered by Fayol, a French engineer like Taylor, his contemporary. Fayol focuses on organizational functions in the total organization. You will observe that administrative theory focuses on overall, relatively micro aspects of organization. Class. Thank you for listening.